Welcome back and thanks for stopping by. So I was cleaning out my attic, obviously over the Christmas period. In Ireland we put up Christmas trees, and we then at the end of the Christmas holiday we put the trees back up in the attic, and I was going through a big stack of classic rock magazines that I hadn't read in years, so I decided they have to get put up in the attic because they're taking up too much space down in the house. But as I was running through the magazines, I found this. So it's the 50 albums that built prog rock. Now, I was always a fan of prog rock, but I've really only started getting really heavily into prog rock in the last few years, and especially the last 6 months, to be honest. So I just decided I'm going to hang on to this, and then I was thinking, that's great, hang on to it, and I'll go through the albums and I'll probably give them all a listen. But wouldn't it be cool if I actually did a full YouTube video on these 50 albums? Because I'm sure that there's loads of prog rock fans out there who completely disagree with this list, and they will have albums that they believe should be in there. Now, I'm not going to ask anyone to tell me your 50 prog rock albums, your 50 favourite prog rock albums below. But if you want to give me your top 10, and certainly if there's any prog rock albums that are not included in this list, definitely put them down there, guys, because I'm trying to consume as much prog rock as I possibly can, and that will all help me out. So I'm going to go through the 50 by name. There's a few odd ones in here that people will believe are not prog rock, and I'm hoping there's a description in here or a reason why they are on the list. So I'm just going to start off here. I think it's in chronological order from 1966 right up to 2009. Okay, so we'll start off here. The first album on the list is Freak Out by the Mothers of Invention. So that was released in 1966. I don't think many people would have an issue with that. Frank Zappa is certainly a prog rock musician, no issues with that. Second one here, the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, released in 1966. Again, I was kind of surprised to see that there. I'll just read the little article here. So he says, the Beach Boys were best known for their early 60s surf anthems, when main songwriter Brian Wilson went head-to-head with the Beatles, having heard their Rubber Soul album. He not only sent himself around the twist, but also, along with the Fab Four, helped to create a world of sonic wizardry that suddenly had aspiring and creative psychedelic rockers realising that maybe there were really no limits to what they could achieve. Fair enough, I can agree with that. In terms of the sonics and the production, Pet Sounds probably took things a step further. So fair enough. The next one, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, by the Beatles, released in 1967. Yep, psychedelic, pushing the boundaries of sonics and recording on 4-track machines and bouncing stuff down. I don't think anyone can disagree with the importance of that album on prog rock. The next album we have is Procol Harum, their self-titled album from 1967. Piper at the Gates of Dawn, Pink Floyd's first album with, of course, Syd Barrett, released in 1967. Next one here is by the Moody Blues, Days of Future Past. 1967 still. The Thoughts of the Emeralist, Dave Jack by The Nice from 1967. Never heard of that band. Must go listen to that and see. The next one's obviously a prog rock classic, In the Court of the Crimson King from 1969. Then we've got the Fairport Convention with Liege and Life from 1969. Soft Machine Volume 2 from 1969 again. Curved Air Conditioning, 1970. Van der Graaf Generator, which is a band that Andy Edwards constantly plugs and listens to, so I need to get on board with some of that. The Least We Can Do Is Wave to Each Other. That's a great title for an album. That was released in 1970. Magma with their self-titled album in 1970. Barclay James Harvest, 1971, with their album Once Again. Jethro Tull, 1971. Aqualung. Caravan, 1971, In the Land of Grey and Pink. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, 1971 release called Tarkus. Focus with their 1971 release called Moving Waves. And Yes with their 1971 release Fragile. So that's a lot of albums from 1971 in the list, so we can really see prog is taking lift off at this point. 1972 then we have Genesis with their album Foxtrot. Gentle Giant, 1972 album Octopus. Pink Floyd with their 1973 album Dark Side of the Moon. Mike Oldfield with his 1973 album Tubular Bells. Okay, we have the The Mahavishnu Orchestra, again, another band that Andy Edwards promotes quite a lot, and I'm starting to get into their Visions of Emerald and Beyond, I think is the name of the title, but that's a great album, really getting into that one. The album on this list here is their 1973 release, Birds of Fire. Genesis, with their 1973 release, Selling England by the Pound. Emerson, Lake and Palmer again, with their 1973 release, Brain Salad Surgery. I think that Pat on Close to the Edge actually had that album as his favourite prog rock album of all time. Or was it? No, it wasn't his favourite. Thick as a Brick by Jethro Tull was his favourite. But I think that was very high up on the list. He definitely did a review of it. So you should certainly go check his channel out. Okay, from 1973, Gong's album Angel's Egg. Rick Wakeman, of course, the keyboard player from Yes. His 1974 album Journey to the Center of the Earth. Supertramp with their 1974 album Crime of the Century. The Electric Light Orchestra by El Dorado in 1974. Kraftwerk with their album Autobahn from 1974. Hawkwind Warrior on the Edge of Time from 1975. Renaissance with Scheherazade from 1975. Camel with Moon Madness from 1976. The Alan Parsons Project with Tales of Mystery and Imagination from 1976. Kansas with Left Overture from 1976. Peter Gabriel's self-titled album from 1978. Rush, finally a Rush album. Rush with A Farewell to Kings from 1977. Kate Bush with The Kick Inside from 1978. Didn't think Kate Bush was a prog rock artist. Anyway, you learn something new every day. Asia with their self-titled album from 1982. Marillion with Misplaced Childhood from 1985. Yes with their 1983 release 90125. Queensryche with their 1988 release Operation Mindcrime. So you can see the gaps are getting bigger now between the releases. So certainly the 70s was the glory years of prog rock, no doubt about that. Dream Theater from 1989, when Dream and Day Unite. This is an interesting one. Radiohead 1997 with OK Computer. Yeah, definitely prog rock, no doubt about it, and especially in the era that was released in. But great to see them on there. Opeth with Blackwater Park from 2001. The Mars Volta with Deluced in the Comatorium from 2003. Porcupine Tree with Dead Wing from 2005. Muse with Black Holes and Revelations from 2006. Yep, Muse are definitely a prog rock band and deserve to be on here at least once, if not more. And then the last, but certainly not least, is Mastodon with Crack the Sky. Yeah, love Mastodon. Absolutely huge fan of Mastodon stuff. They're brilliant. So there you go, folks. That's 50 albums, according to Classic Rock magazine, that built prog rock. And it's gone through in chronological order there. So that wasn't actually ranked. But I would love if you could tell me your top 10 albums that you consider built prog rock in the comments below. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any albums, and I'm sure there are, because I can already think of a number of them. Like Yes with Close to the Edge, or Rush with 2112. You know, even some of the other Pink Floyd stuff, like Animals, like some of that stuff isn't included on this list. Probably should be. Even Deep Purple should have some stuff on there. But yeah, that's the list Classic Rock magazine had out. I'm not sure when that was. It doesn't say it here, when this was released. I must find out. I think it was the well, obviously it wasn't any later, or wasn't any earlier than 2009 when the last one. So I think, yeah, probably was around 2009 or 2010 when I picked this magazine up. But it's always interesting to look back at the state of play. There may be also some new prog rock albums that have been released in the last 15 years that deserve to be on this list. So let me know about that as well, guys. So if you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. If you could also hit the like and leave a notification. All that stuff helps out the channel. I'm trying to grow this channel, so any help will be greatly appreciated. And I will talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.